Hello there, how are you? I hope you're having a wonderful Friday so far. Welcome to the glamour of YouTube. Can I please have a like and a subscribe for sitting on my bedroom floor while my husband has kicked me out of the room. Forgive me if you can hear his loud voice in the background as well. It's like a foghorn, an actual foghorn. Let's reflect on last night's Champions League, shall we? In fact, before we go there, shall we just reflect quickly on Liverpool against Reading? What? I didn't watch it. I just had my notifications on. Of course, that game had been postponed, but big game when it comes to points, obviously, for both Liverpool and Reading. And fair enough, a 3-3 draw, both taking a point each, but that moves Liverpool up. Now they've got 5 points, Reading got 4 points, Leicester got 0 points. So the bottom of the table starting to look that little bit more interesting, that little bit more scary for Leicester City once again. They really have to do something, but great game last night for Liverpool, seriously sitting on the floor. I don't need this. But yeah, keeps it interesting, doesn't it, for the Women's Super League, and that Katie Stengel for Liverpool. She might be the difference to their campaign, I think. But I'm sure Matt Beard would be a little bit delighted with that, and Kelly Chambers as well. That's a very good result for both Liverpool and Reading last night. Kind of wish I'd seen that game. I had my eye on the Brazil game at the World Cup, and of course keeping across Champions League last night as well. Let's go back to Tuesday night just quickly, because Chelsea beat Real Madrid 2-0, which is a massive result for Chelsea. I was quite looking forward to seeing Caroline Weir in action, seeing her coming together with a kind of old WSL rivals, and seeing how that played out. But Chelsea just have it all at the minute. You know, it feels like as the years progressing, they're not going to dip. They seem to be getting stronger, and in Champions League so far they've been brilliant. I do look at the likes of Barcelona, maybe, well, I was going to say Lyon, but I don't see it this time around in the Champions League for Lyon. But Chelsea have a chance, and Erin Cuthbert once again with another goal. There's something so still underrated about Erin Cuthbert, and I like it because I think it galvanises her. I think it gives her that edge, and she brings something to that team that I feel nobody else does. She's not got a niceness about her, and I mean that in a nice way. You know, she brings that aggression, she brings that kind of, you know, attitude, that terrier, that, you know, about her. I'm trying to get my words out today, but it's Friday and the brain as well, I'm truly off. So yeah, I think Chelsea's campaign in the Champions League this year, you know, I spoke to Rachel Corsie about this a number of months ago, and she was saying, I don't know why we don't look at Arsenal and Chelsea to be winners of the Champions League. They should be competing. And actually, to know that Chelsea were in the final just 2 years ago, which wasn't even 2 years ago, it must be a year and a half ago now, it's very easy to think that that's where they're going to be again this time round. Can they be ruthless enough and clinical enough if they go up against the likes of Barcelona again? I think they can. I think they can. Moving on to last night, Zurich 0, Lyon 3. Now, early on last week, I did a thing for DAZN called The Matchup, speaking to Daniel van de Donk, formerly, of course, of Arsenal, and now at Lyon. And it was so interesting to understand how the Lyon mentality works. They're very clear with being, we're here to win. You know, we're not here to take part, we're here to win, and we won't be underestimated. And it was refreshing to hear that mentality, that elite language, you know, and we don't hear it enough from the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, of course, because they've not been there in quite some time. But you know, Lyon were the underdogs going up against Barcelona last time round, understandably, and they comfortably, well, they won the game, and you know, they won the European Championship. So I do look and go, I like how they view themselves. They view themselves as the champions and the one to beat. And she was really interesting to speak to when that video is out. I'll share it on my community and I'll let you know. But yeah, it was interesting to get that insight. It's a tough enough group, I guess, the Lyon group, and they had to get that win last night. They'll probably still come out. The group, of course, I think they will. But you know, that would be a huge upset if they didn't. But that Brun, she's a player. Juventus won Arsenal won. I'm going to come back to it. Stay with me. I'm going to come back to it because I've got too much to say on the matter. Let's go Barcelona 3, Bayern Munich 0. Now this is interesting because it feels like Bayern are ever so slightly struggling, and it felt like they had some good investment in the last window. It felt like they strengthened maybe in the right areas, you know, bringing in the likes of Georgia Stanway, who's had an impact in the team. But even domestically, they're not quite at it at the moment. They're sitting third in the table in their domestic league. What will Bayern Munich be able to do in the Champions League this time round? I'm not sure. I think they obviously come out the group, and then what happens after that, I think they're going to really be challenged and they're going to have to do more. But Barcelona, 3 comfortable goals. That attacking forward line, and they're not even at their strongest, you know, are kind of unplayable. It seems like. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Again, you move into this competition, it's hard not to see Barcelona as front and centre favourites. Alexia Putellas got presented with the Champions League Player of the Year award for 2021-2022 season yesterday at the game. Fair enough, completely agree with that. If you're still thinking I'm the devil for saying that Beth Mead should have won the Ballon d'Or over Alexia Putellas, well, I still feel that way. But she should have won the Champions League award, and she won that last night. So she was presented with that award last night, and that's fair play to her. Gosh, just makes you think about the ACL injuries, isn't it, with Alexia Putellas and Beth Mead. Wow. Okay, so Arsenal last night, I watched the game on DAZN last night. Juventus won, Arsenal won. Arsenal were so lucky, so lucky. Oh, I've got to be careful how much I say, because it'll probably come back and bite me, but maybe that's a good thing, because I want Arsenal to progress, I want them to do well, I want them to do better, but they are threadbare. They are threadbare in their squad right now. I'd say it's got to be a massive concern for Jonas Cedeval. Where the hell is Mana Awabuchi when you are that threadbare? She's still not on. Was she even in the squad last night? Mental. That blows my tiny mind. Viv had a bit of a limp at one point, didn't she? She sat down. I hope there's nothing going on there. But the goal from Vivianne Miedema, you could tell what it meant to her. You could tell it feels like it's been a long time coming. And that brought them back into the game. But ultimately, I'd say Juventus were stronger. That Beerenstyne, who scored for them, plays for the Netherlands as well, of course, alongside Vivianne Miedema. Loved watching her in the Euros, the pace on her. And actually at that moment where she was making that run for goal, Laura Wienreuter kept up, but everyone else just trailing. It was like there was no want to stop her. They knew it was coming. But for me, the squad is just so threadbare. It's a huge concern. It's got to be a concern. You don't progress in the Champions League and then go up against Chelsea, Lyon, Barcelona and think you're going to do okay with that squad. They need players back, and they need to do better. They didn't seem at it last night. They were lucky to take a point from that game. I think it was a bit of a disappointing performance, and I hope Arsenal can do better next time round, because I think the next game, well, they're at the Emirates, aren't they, for the Lyon game? I want to say that's December 15th, is Lyon. I don't think Lyon are going to pull any punches this time around, that's for sure. But interesting wee night last night in the Champions League. Things are starting to hot up. I do like this time of year, to be fair. But Chelsea, Barcelona, for me, they're the two perfect records so far in this campaign. I actually look ahead and could see those two in a final.